This Asgard Divide event is a mess. It's just really not at all what it could have been, and honestly what it should have been. And today that's what we're going to talk about. I was pretty excited for it. It seemed like something they were hyping up to be a pretty big deal. We were getting the event dungeon, which I talked about quite a bit, that I liked that they were finally doing that. There's some stuff in this that I'm happy to see. But as a whole, if we zoom out and look at this whole event, it's not a surprise. It's fairly typical Plarium, but you kind of, when you see them implementing something new and trying something, you're like, oh, okay, maybe they're actually going to go for something here. But they didn't. It's so unorganized and weird. It's just aggravating. So let's talk about it. And real quick, for the 7 of you that show up every time I make a rant video of any sort and go, all you do is crime outrage, go watch the 10 or 12 videos before this one where I was being excited for the event and I was talking about all the good stuff about it and I was being optimistic about it. And save yourself a tear-filled comment, all right? First of all, I don't even know where first of all should be, but Asgardian Path. I talked about this a little bit in my Free to Succeed this morning. I don't know what makes this the Asgardian Path. There's nothing in here that's different. Like, not even avatars. There's nothing in here that makes this an Asgardian Path, except the picture of Thor's hammer, I guess. It's just the same old shit. And you look at it and you go, wow, 6-star legendary gear, that's pretty good. But we all know by now that maybe 14 of you are going to get some decent gear out of that, and the rest is going to be poop. Other than that, it's filler. It's inconsequential. 5 brews, you know what I mean? It's just a bunch of nonsense. It's just a bunch of nonsense that you have to grind really hard for. It's purely for the whales, right? It's for the whales to see the mythical tomes that they need and to probably just soulstone their way down to them, right? Soulstone / summon their way down to them. And again, you would think, with them wanting you to burn all your shards before the fusion that is apparently coming on September 6th for Thor, you'd think they'd want to entice you a little bit more to burn your shards, but it's nothing. I guess what makes it the Asgardian Path is the picture of Thor's hammer and the background that is Asgardian Divide related. But it's just nothing, right? It's just kind of boring. Same old stuff. The Loki Chase is dope for sure, right? Not necessarily anything new, and I don't know that this necessarily needed to be anything new. I will say it's kind of strange that they introduced a new gear set with this dungeon and couldn't give you a few pieces of it here. You know what I mean? As though the bottom row stuff is going to be usable anyway. I don't know why not give everybody a few pieces of the new gear set. Let them get it. Let them get a taste of it being equipped on one of their champs and see if they like it and see if it appeals to them enough to want to go farm the dungeon for it. You know what I mean? Again, that's an easy thing. But like, cool. Loki seems like a dope champ. It's cool that they're giving him to everybody. This is cool. This is a good move. You know what I mean? Again, don't know why the new gear set's not in there. We've got the event dungeon, which is dope. You get to fight Odin. You get to see what he's like in action. The stage design is cool. It's cool that there's a new dungeon, right? This is what I've been wanting them to do for a long time when they do these big events that they hype up, is some sort of event dungeon. However, what I didn't want them to do is pad it with a bunch of bullshit gear to make it less likely that you get the thing that you're here for. That's all this is. It's just padded. They're just padding it so that you're less likely to get pinpoint. Also, it goes up to stage 30 and you never get to eliminate 5-star drops, rather. Ever? You never get to stop getting 5-star drops at stage 30? I'm at stage 20 and I can tell you the jump from 20 to 21 is substantial. It's quite a jump in difficulty. I don't think it's exponentially that much more difficult every time, but I'm sure it's not easy, right? Also, at stage 25, he hits 350, and then he stays 350. So I assume that just the minions get stronger, right? I think it's a different collection of barbarians every time. And yeah, you never eliminate 5-star gear. And it's padded with other shit. You know, if they wanted to pad it, they could have padded it with something else. You know what I mean? There were many opportunities to put other potential drops in this dungeon. Maybe make silver drop at a higher quantity here, so that we could have a little bit of a silver farm for a little while. Also, that would make it so that we wouldn't have to feel like we were sacrificing time we might want to spend in this dungeon to go do the other stuff in the game that we need to do, which is another thing that I want to talk about here. We have this event dungeon that costs the same energy everything else costs. They've refused to increase our energy pool for whatever reason, right? But we've got this event dungeon that everybody probably wants to be in because it's something new. They've not really done it before. But they keep dropping stuff for other dungeons. Fire Knight turn attack, Ice Golem turn attack's coming. Stop sending us to the other dungeons. What are you doing? How about an Asgardian dungeon event? What? Why? Why is everything a sacrifice? I've talked about this before. You hype this event up. You're doing this big, cool event with all this stuff. That's a joke. And then you're giving, you're not capitalizing on it in any way. You're constantly putting stuff in the game to distract everybody from this dungeon that you've put in the game. So it's just such a weird, unorganized mess. It's like everything like this they do, it's like it's that person's first time ever doing this. Whoever organized it, whoever set it up, whatever team set it up. It's like it's their first time. And if it was their first time, we could go, okay, you know what? It's a little bit of a learning curve. If you've got no experience, I understand this is quite a bit different than anything else you'd be doing in other games or other situations. So like, fine, here's some notes. Let's do it better next time. But they've been doing this for 5 years. And every time they do it, it's like this. There's just so many holes in it. It's like they don't learn. So is it that they don't learn, or that they know all the answers and they just choose to do this for the sake of this, right? There's definitely something to be said about them wanting to keep a buzz going. I just think there were so many opportunities to do so much more here. For one, the event dungeon is cool. I think don't pad it with other gear. And maybe have a few different versions of this even. Maybe have one of these where you're fighting, if you're going to fight Odin, maybe have it where Thor is the leader of the team by default. And you build a team around Thor. That way you get to see some gameplay. You get to use Thor. You can't take him anywhere else. He's not in your roster, but you get to have him on your team. A lot of games do this. Sort of Convaleria that I've been playing, they've done a lot of games have done it where if there's a banner for a champ, sometimes there's a game mode where that champ's on your team. So you get to see what it would be like to have them on your team. It makes it more enticing. It makes you more interested in him. If you jump into one of these dungeons and Thor's on your team and you're like, man, he's making this real easy. This dude's a beast. You're going to be more likely to want to go for him, right? That just seems like incorporate more of the characters into this. You acted like we were getting a whole new realm added to Raid Shadow Legends. Make it feel that way. Do some other stuff. Put some other rewards in here. How about some milestone clears? The first time you clear stage 5, because like maybe every significant gear jump you get, again, an avatar is a reasonable one. Maybe for the higher stages you're guaranteed a legendary piece of the gear. Maybe at the highest stage, you get a skin for someone, one of the new champs or someone already in the game. I'm sure people would lose their mind over a Viking themed Syl skin. You know what I mean? An Asgardian themed Syl skin. Like, you have so much at your disposal. You have 5 years to build upon here. And we got an event page that is half full of stuff that was already going on. Summon Pool event was already going on and has nothing. It could not have less to do with the Asgard Divide. It's a Skinwalker Summon Pool event that was already live, and it's on this page. A free gear removal. This was something else. This changed. Well, this was the champ training tournament, if I'm not mistaken. So now they've swapped out the Fire Knight tournament, which, let's go look at the Fire Knight tournament real quick. Asgardian picture, but what makes it Asgardian? What makes this part of the Asgard Divide? You can't just do that. right? You can't just throw it in the banner, throw it in the event page and pretend it's part of the event. It's not. 2x primals. Are there any mythical Asgardian champs? Free gear removal? So we've got the Asgard Path in here. That is only the Asgardian Path because it's got Thor's hammer on it and a background. And we've got the Loki Chase, which legitimately deserves to be in here. That's the only thing that deserves to be in this event page. It is comically bad. It is almost like a practical joke. It's almost like a video I'd have made. Pretending, you know what I mean? It's almost like a Plarium skit I would have made. It is just so weird to me that they put so much effort into hyping this up and advertising this and posting stuff on Facebook and getting everybody excited for it, to have it go live and it just be another 7-day login champ, which again is cool. I think Loki seems like a really interesting champ. I think the champs themselves, they did a really good job on. I think their kits are pretty cool. I think they introduced some new and interesting mechanics into the game. Right, we've got a new type of lead here that I don't know if we've seen before. He's got a really interesting passive. His skill is really cool. It adapts to whoever he's attacking. That's dope. Loki's got some really cool stuff going on here. Freya's got some cool stuff going on. I assume Thor's gonna have some. Like, the champs are dope. They look cool. Their kits are cool and interesting. They did a really good job on that. I just don't know why they didn't do a good job on anything else. Why they didn't bother to do a good job on any other part of it. It's just strange, and it baffles me. Again, it's unfortunately to be expected, and that is what it is, but it is no less confusing than it's ever been. So anyway, that's just my quick little rant on the event. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe they've got some more stuff in store for us, and in a few days they'll drop some stuff that's actually Asgardian themed, and it'll end up being a better event. You know, the event dungeon's around for like 9 more weeks pretty much. So there's time, but yeah, as it stands right now, it's just a really jumbled, incoherent mess of an event, in my opinion. You've got an event dungeon that they're trying very hard to pull you away from. You've got an event page full of stuff that has nothing to do with the event. I don't know. It's a pretty big bummer, because despite my knowing better, there was a part of me that was a little bit excited for this. I thought it was pretty cool. I liked the idea of some of the stuff that it seemed like they were going to do. But man, it's just not anything that it could have been. So that's it. I'm done ranting about it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you disagree? Do you think it's a cool event? How are you finding the event dungeon? How far have you been able to get? How do you feel about the gear drops? I did see someone say that there is mythical gear. For a minute, I didn't think there was mythical gear. But apparently at a certain point, mythical gear does start dropping, which is nice, I reckon. I don't know. Just let me know what you think about it all. Interested to see. If you're a whale, if you're free to play, if you're a mild spender, does that impact the way you feel about it at all? I don't know. That's it. I'm getting out of here. Later, guys.